Hi, I'm Terrence.
I'm Manny.
And today's movie that you don't hate. All right, so today's movie that you don't hate is a controversial one. One that's probably most people would probably agree that it's not people's favorite, especially in this new DCEU. Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, because we figured if we were going to defend a movie that most people that they really didn't like, we're going to make sure that we have the edition where it included everything that the director wanted people to see. So a lot of the things that people had gripes about with the plot holes, the Ultimate Edition was supposed to fix, and we're here to kind of figure out if you do or you don't hate this movie.
Mm-hmm. So how this works, if you guys have never seen You Don't Hate, we're going to separate it in five. We're going to break it down actually in five categories. Plot, the acting, the directing, the special effects and visuals, and the characters.
Right.
And we're going to tally up, we're going to debate, well not really debate, but we're going to talk about the pros and cons on each one, and then we're going to make an assumption on whether or not, or a decision on whether or not we hate or we like it. We're going to tally up the scores at the end and show you that you really don't hate this movie.
No, I mean, for this particular movie, this is, we say this a lot, it was like, ooh, this is going to be a tough one, but when faced with some of the things that people really had to say about this movie, if we're going to put it to like, we really have to come up with a legitimate reason why it does pass with a like. So we're going to be as straightforward as we possibly can be and fair, but if you're ready to get into it,
let's get it on the way. Terrence, start the scoreboard now.
You guys like my powers? Let's make it appear.
All right, plot of this is really simple. Terrence, why don't you let the viewers know what the plot was?
Okay, so if you're a big fan of the comic books, this is not the comic book version of this. It's loosely based on the Dark Knight Returns. And basically the way this movie sets up is that the events of Man of Steel 2, the events of Man of Steel have influenced the public opinion for Superman, and how we see the side of Bruce Wayne and Batman, how he views this alien coming, causing so much damage and destruction to not only Metropolis, but to Gotham City as well, and how the threat of this alien and how powerful it is could be, if it's right or it's wrong, or if it should be left unchecked. I guess that's the best way I can put it. And then we get a big confrontation between the two, and it's basically, which side did you fall between? Which side is right, and how will they settle this in this particular confrontation? So the parts that it loosely borrows from the Dark Knight Returns is the confrontation that Batman and Superman has. The setup in the comic books is a lot different, but it does borrow that aspect to it. And in the comic books, he was retired. He's not retired in this one. He's still active as Batman. But it's a great setup. I mean, when we look at any type of movie where there's a mutual conflict between two people, if it seems balanced and fair, then that sets up a great, a great plot to any particular movie. And the great one that went on with this one, we had the biggest names in comic books, Batman and Superman.
For the first time together
on screen. Man, it's awesome by itself. I think the plot of this movie was great, and I think that the setup was awesome, and especially with the way people thought about the original Man of Steel and the destruction, and with a Superman character, this one does a great job to kind of continue where they left off and address those things. So I think the plot was great.
I kind of disagree a little bit, only because, well, first of all, Superman's not a menace. If it's borrowing,
but in this,
if it's borrowing a little bit from the Dark Knight Returns, this should have actually just been the Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns was a completely different setup, though.
Right, but that's what I'm talking about. They should have went that route and not because they actually respect each other and they're friends, and to a certain degree in the Dark Knight Returns. And it wasn't until at the end when they're conflicting against each other that they're fighting. And Batman's like pretty much calling them the U.S. or whatever Golden Boy there, and that's what starts the conflict between.
Well, yeah, because that's why they portrayed him in the comic books, was like he was kind of a lackey. I think that was
I think that was it. That's the route that they should have gone to.
But see, that one they would have had to really fast forward time. We would have really had to have like an old Batman and an older Superman. And this one, they've already established a young Superman, and Ben Affleck's not a spring chicken, but he's not in his 50s either. So I don't think that they really could have done that in this particular universe that they've already set up. Now, did they make a problem by fast forwarding to this particular this particular event in their, I don't want to say their lives together, but in their history together? Did they make a mistake by doing that? Maybe they did it too soon, but it was an interesting way for them to deal with the backlash that they got from the original movie.
Then you have, Luthor's plan, which is completely, it's the plot for me was all over the place.
Okay.
You had is Man of Steel a menace? What is Luthor's real plan here? Mm-hmm. And Ben Affleck, Batman, what's his mission? What exactly is the mission? And the whole thing that, the whole mom thing.
But that's not part of the plot.
We'll talk about that later.
That's not part of the plot.
But I'm just saying that the whole thing was just all over the place, in my opinion. I think that it was just trying too hard to set up the Justice League.
Okay.
I think that they should have just made it the Dark Knight Returns, introduce this as the Batman solo film, because it was basically all the attention was going to him anyway.
Okay. But when we're talking about plot, the plot is, what is the setup of the movie? What is the movie more or less about? How do we go in? What do we know going into this film? That was the plot. The plot is, Superman, is he a menace? Is he not a menace? Batman, is he a menace? Is he not a menace? Both of them have two opposing sides. They feel like they're on the right side of each one of their arguments, and they come to heads to figure out how they're going to deal with each other. That is the plot of this movie.
For 8 minutes.
That is the plot of this movie. We're not talking about the execution, but the plot of this movie was that, and that's how they set this film up. And for the 2 hours and 30 minutes of this film, 2 hours in, no, 2 hours,
3 hours, almost 3 hours with the
2 hours of this film was that plot. That 30 minutes was not the plot. That 30 minutes was the last act of this movie and how they resolved the plot, but that was not the plot. The plot was what I just told you.
It had 3 plots. It was not one.
That plot was.
You tell me the plot of freaking Civil War. That's the plot for the whole movie.
Civil War had multiple plots.
It did not have multiple plots. It was all about the Sokovia Accord.
And Black Panther getting revenge for his father's death.
But it was all a part of that. So that's how. Never mind.
So you're saying because that one only dealt with their disagreement themselves,
as a matter of fact, when we were talking about it, that was one of the things that you commended it for.
Wait, that
for Civil War being that.
Yes, no, I did love that. But when we're talking about what is the plot of this movie, the plot of this movie is that did they carry that to the finale of this movie? No, but that's not what the plot is. The plot is the setup of this movie.
What do you?
The plot is the premise of this movie is alike.
I don't like it.
It's like you don't like the resolution to it. That's not the plot.
All right, so who's gonna get the point?
The definition of the plot is the setup.
Who's gonna get the point?
Like the definition. I'm gonna put the definition of plot here.
Give it to like. Ding ding ding. Asterisk.
Next category.
All right, so the next category is the acting. Now we have some Oscar winners. Mm-hmm. We have some Oscar nominees. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have some talent on here. We have Oscar winners like Ben Affleck, who's never won for his acting, but for his directing of Argo, writing of Good Will Hunting, and then you have Jeremy Irons, who actually did win the Oscar for Reversal of Fortune, and Diane Lane, Oscar nominee for Unfaithful. Amy Adams for Everything, and Lawrence Fishburne for playing Ike Turner. So you've got some great talent here, and honestly, I think that they bring a lot. Kevin Costner, Oscar winner too, for Dance with Wolves.
Wait.
What?
Oh, I almost forgot he was in the movie because he's dead.
He was in the dream.
It's like, oh yeah, he was dead.
Anyway, so I think that they really brought something to the characters. I really think, I mean, some of them. Ben Affleck, top notch. He was a freaking awesome Batman, and he was an even better Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
He really took it to Christian Bale, in my opinion, when it came to the role.
Right.
So I thought he was awesome.
All right.
What do you think about Ben Affleck?
Oh, Ben Affleck did a great job, but we all know Ben Affleck can act when it's not Daredevil, and.
Hey, but that was was Geely. That's what
He was.
I was chasing Amy.
Look,
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck now is a great actor, and he's evolved his craft. You know, even though we had some reservations about what we thought he was going to be as Batman, he proved us wrong, and he proved that he is a great actor, and he's great as Batman in this particular universe.
And he took it seriously.
Yeah, he took it very seriously.
Yeah,
He didn't.
that's what I like
He
about
didn't
it.
fan it. He didn't phone it in. I mean, there's a lot of things he could have done since this is.
He didn't Clooney it.
Since this is a superhero film, he could have George Clooney'd it, but he did a great job. So we're gonna take them all individually. Or we're gonna take it all.
Oh, we'll talk about it real quick. Henry Cavill. He.
I like him as an actor. I like him.
I like his look. He is Superman.
Yes.
I just don't think he is the Superman we're used to right
Yes,
now.
no, and the what they've set up in this particular universe, this is our Superman, and I think we really have to get to a point where we're accepting that. We need to stop thinking about what had come prior to in Superman, because once again, I've said it before in other shows, we don't want Christopher Reeve again. We've gotten Christopher Reeve before with in Superman Returns, and we didn't like it. So this is what we asked for, and this is what we kind of need to accept, because that's the way this universe has been set up. Will he evolve later on? Quite possibly. I think for what they've already set up, he did a great job for this particular type of Superman. We can't expect him to be moody Superman in Man of Steel and then become happy light Superman in the next movie.
Because this is still early.
Yeah.
And he's still getting used to a lot of things as far as humanity is concerned and all that stuff. So, I think that this...
And
I don't want to give too much away, but I think in the next incarnation of Superman,
Hopefully.
when he comes out, maybe that'll
I mean, Jesus
that'll be
didn't
different.
start Grand Miracles till he was 33. Come on, man.
Okay, Amy Adams was great. I think she was awesome. I love Jeremy Irons as Alfred. He reminded me so much of the Arkham Alfred that I just think he did such an awesome job.
Yeah, because this one was, it seemed like they kind of wanted to reference the Butler thing when he brought out the little drink and stuff like that, but this Alfred is more beneficial to this particular universe's Batman. The whole thing with Alfred being a butler, that really doesn't make sense to why he would be involved in the day-to-day crime fighting for Batman, besides the fact that I know your secret identity. This one, hey, he's good. He's setting up weapons. He's getting a bat suit prepared. That actually makes sense. It fits this universe. And Jeremy Irons is a great actor. He did a good job for what he did. He didn't get a lot of screen time, and that was my only little thing with it. But what is he really going to do as Alfred? I mean, he's not going to go out there and hey, I'm going to go out with you on a mission, and I'm not going to be Robin.
When he was on screen, he was awesome. It was Alfred.
Right.
Gal Gadot, absolutely flawless. As friggin'
Stole the movie when she got there.
Was just amazing. She was awesome. Now you had reservations about her.
Oh yeah, me and everybody else.
And she just kind of she ledgered it big time.
Yeah. So just like we didn't want Heath Ledger. Trust me, y'all didn't want Heath Ledger. Nobody wanted Heath Ledger.
Or Michael Keaton.
No, Michael Keaton when they first got cast. And the same thing with Gal Gadot. She impressed. She showed everybody that she was worth getting this role, and she proved that
and
when they cast her. I have a hard time saying that.
That's the truth, though.
It's
you don't need those just to be a character. She was awesome.
If we're gonna do some CGI enhancements, can we work that in the budget a little bit? Just a little bit. Make me happier watching the movie.
Holly Hunter was barely in it, but she did okay. I mean, as far as the was she a senator, or what was she in that movie?
Yeah, she was a senator.
Yeah, so she was all right. I mean, she really didn't have too much to do.
I mean, she had an important role.
She died too early. I mean,
by the way, spoiler alert if you're watching this.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
But if you're watching this, trust me, you've already seen it. We're talking about the Ultimate Edition. We're not talking about with the theatrical cut.
The only one that really got me was Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
So, do you think that you didn't like his acting or you didn't like his interpretation? And I think there's a big distinction between the two.
I didn't like his interpretation of Lex Luthor. The acting was, if that's what the role called for, he was awesome.
That's what he asked to do.
But I know, and we'll get into the directing part a little bit later, but that was about my only thing as far as the acting was concerned.
But see, here's the thing. Normally we do acting and directing together as one particular like or dislike. So that's a big...
But since this is the Ultimate Edition, it has to be separated.
Okay.
What do you want to give it?
Acting was great.
All right. Give it to light, Terrence.
Minus, the interpretation. That was about it.
No asterisk this time. Directing.
Now directing.
Zack Snyder first, came into this universe with Man of Steel.
Okay.
Now he's done some you like this guy's visuals actually.
But that's not this category.
No, not visuals. But you like his
I like
vision
it,
and how he brings things to life, like Watchmen, like 300.
Yeah,
certain parts of Sucker Punch.
He is. Look, if there's anybody that's going to go down for visuals on screen, it should be him. He knows how to give you something, like whether it's a comic book adaptation, he knows how to give you something that you've never seen before on screen. I would James Cameronish, if that's a word. I made it up. Where like that's just his forte. Unfortunately, story writing is not his forte.
No, and the directing.
Not story writing, but storytelling is not his forte.
I don't think that he grasped the comic book, the concept, and the characters for what they are. He directed Eisenberg completely off of what Lex Luthor really is.
Let's put that on Eisenberg, because Eisenberg asked to do that whole.
Well, I don't know. I didn't care for that, but he's the director. He has a say in it. The direction of the movie, there were some things, especially in editing, I just didn't agree with. Now, don't get me wrong. The Ultimate Edition is way better, and like you got to see all the plot holes.
It doesn't fill them all, but it fills in some major ones, though.
But there are so many things that happen in this movie that could have been saved and used somewhere else. It didn't all have to be crammed in there.
Right, and like the forced in Justice League thing.
Right.
The all the flashbacks, a lot of things.
Dream sequences.
Exactly. When I watched it again today, I kept saying, it's like, why is this necessary? Right. And the only reason that it's necessary is to set up that whole Martha thing. And there's so many things. It was like they had to show you how tortured Batman is in regards to losing his parents, and we all know that, and that's the reason why we didn't do a backstory. But you still kind of hit us over the head with, yes, he's bothered by losing his parents, and they really didn't need to do that. They really could have we knew who Batman was, and just let him be himself, and just deal with the fact that how is he going to address this whole elephant alien thing in the room.
And that is why I did not agree with it, especially one, the Martha scene. Mm-hmm. Two, if you're gonna have Batman, go and stop. Right. Stop his whole purpose of the whole freaking movie, which changes by one name. That's at least give me the line. Give me the line that they introduced this whole movie to in Comic-Con back in 2013, 14, whenever it was.
What, you'll bleed?
Yes, no. The one man who beat you. In private moments, you will remember the one man who beat you. Give me that line. He doesn't even have to say, why did you say that name? Don't say why did you say that name. Just stop what you're doing.
Maybe he goes, why did you say that name? You will remember the man who beat you.
No, don't say it. Compose yourself after Lois says that. Come back and then tell him like he's conflicted with the whole freaking decision that I'm gonna freaking stop. But I'm
gonna stop and you will remember the man who beat you.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. And I just don't think that Snyder really had that. I don't. There are certain scenes that the movie is beautiful. It really is. A long time ago, we actually had a show talking about this, and we were actually talking about two fights. The first fight he gets his ass kicked. Second fight he has the metal suit and he whoops his ass. That would have helped this movie out a lot. And it just completely went a different direction. I blame all of that on Snyder. I just did not like the directing of it.
Not addressing every plot hole, being forced to cut down your movie to get it within a respectable runtime so that they can make money, and that's probably was a DC thing, was a Warner Brothers thing. But he chose to cut important things out of the movie instead of cutting the crap we could have been saving for an end credit scene, or the crap that he could have saved for the Ultimate Edition that we didn't need to see in a theatrical cut. I think those were just poor decisions that he made, and that's why the directing has to get a hate.
Yeah, definitely gets a hate on that one. Finally, we agree on them.
Yeah. I hate some things.
All right. Next is the special effects / visuals.
I just basically went on, a love for Zack Snyder and his visuals. How do you think I'm going to vote this?
Gee, let me think. I thought, honestly, cinematography-wise, and a lot of the shot selections and how he filmed certain things as far as the visuals and all that, I think they were really freaking good.
No, they were awesome. It's
mean-
like he gave us some things, even though they didn't make sense plot wise, just because they were super freaking cool. The Batman Nightmare scene was cool. Whether you hate it or you like it or you hate it, the fight scene with Wonder Woman was set up so cool with the music and her just dropping down and blocking with the shield. And, it looked awesome, even though where it made a lot of sense in the story itself. I think
the fighting scenes were great. The Batplane scene was awesome.
That was awesome.
The Doomsday fight scenes, even though I'm not a fan of the Doomsday, I'm not a fan of that Doomsday, but it was still visually.
Forced in, we didn't need that.
It was visually, it was great. Had the Batplane scenes, the Batmobile scene was. Those special effects on that whole thing was just awesome. I'm not used to seeing Batman kill people like that, but hey.
Once again, that's the universe that has been set up. We just have to accept it. I just hope in a future film that they address that and determine when maybe there's going to be a transition to where we're going to make a pact as the Justice League. We're not going to kill anybody. That means you too, Superman. No killing. No more flying guys through 3 walls and then talking about how you didn't kill anybody.
He lived. He's all.
Yeah, that guy, I didn't kill him. And no more running people over in a Batmobile when they're just shooting out of the back of the truck.
And no more peach tea.
No more peach tea. That really bothered. Well, we're not going to get off track.
What bothered you?
What bothered me is that Mercy Graves died in that scene.
Yeah.
And that's an important character for Lex Luthor. There would be no way that he would kill Mercy Graves. No way.
Yeah.
Not purposely. Not like that. So that's another directing thing. That's like that. He let that be in the movie, and it's like, look, Batman's killing, Superman's killing. Lex Luthor would kill people. He wouldn't kill Mercy Graves.
All right. So special effects visuals gets a
like.
Ding ding ding. All right, last one. Where are we at right now? We're at, holy crap, we are at 3-1.
I know, right? Who'd have thought?
It should actually be 2-2. You know what? I'm going to call back that. I'm going to call back the plot. I got to call back the plot. There is a third member of the Goods. The plot of Batman versus Superman, Aspen. Hate or like?
I hate it.
Why? Oh! Why did you hate the plot?
I didn't like it. They went at it horribly. We had a good idea, and it was not set up properly.
Rescind, let me take it away. Terrence is there, and boom! We got a 2-2 tie.
The plot was good.
Game 5. Winner is decided.
Now, we lose this is your fault because that was a lie. You just
characters. Here it is.
The first time on You Don't Hate, we can't defend a movie.
No, actually we can. Batman. That is Batman. I mean, the only thing that was bad about the Batman character in this movie was the small ears. That's it.
And the killing.
And the killing. That's it. Other than that, I thought
and
that
the Martha scene.
I'm talking about the character. The character.
The character who's so over the that he would break in the middle of I'm gonna kill you. Once again, killing people. I'm gonna kill you moment because somebody said a name. That's a representation of Batman. As focused and as driven as Batman is, that's a representation of Batman.
Yes. Because I really, at the same time, Batman doesn't create the freaking Justice League. But in Terrence's words, in this universe. All right, so guess what? In this universe, I love this Batman.
This is an unfocused Batman. So yeah. So what you're trying to say is you're trying to say that you like the way that they represent his character, or his character is representative of what we expect from Batman?
Right.
Which one?
I like the
way they represent his character in this movie.
Yes, in this movie. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Superman.
Come on. Do you like the way that they represent Superman's character in this movie? Come on, sir.
No. No.
Why don't you like the way that they represented Superman's character in this one?
Hold on.
All right.
Actually, it's not. It's not that bad. Okay, I'm not going to compare it to Christopher Reeves. I'm not going to do it.
Because y'all don't want to.
And I'm not even going to do that with. I'm not even going to compare it to Brandon Routh either. I'm going to compare it to for the standalone of what it is and the circumstances that it's in. Like I said, he's still conflicted. He's still an alien to this world. He's still learning it. he found a little bit of humanity through his, through being on the farm and then meeting Lois, yes. But as far as a whole and what he means to the world, he's still conflicted. So in those circumstances, Henry Cavill did his job. I'm gonna say yes. I like the Superman option.
So you like the Superman?
Yes,
that's what it comes down to. You like the Superman.
I like the Superman.
Wonder Woman's a no-brainer. We know you love Wonder Woman.
I love Wonder Woman. Absolutely.
All right, Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. I cannot stand.
Okay, so now you got.
Luthor. Wait. Okay, Lois is good. I like Lois.
Right.
I love
Who doesn't
Wonder Woman.
like Lois?
And hey,
It's like Lois
that's the
is-
three right there. That's the three right there. The main three, right? Alfred was portrayed great.
yes,
he was
Alfred.
awesome. And I did not like the Doomsday. Doomsday should have been Abomination from Incredible Hulk.
But Abomination is not in here.
That would have been a better interpretation of him. But
Marvel would have sued the crap out of him if he
real
looked
quick
like
though,
Abomination.
on the Alfred. How do you put the two? How do you compare the two between how it's portrayed in this particular Alfred as a character, as opposed to Michael Caine's character in the Dark Knight trilogy?
I like them both. I liked Michael Caine's portrayal of somebody that was involved in the family and was a part of the family, and he felt like
a father
a father figure to Batman. I like that interpretation, and then I also like this one because in this particular world, when we're talking about need and your purpose for the things that go on in this particular universe. Alfred makes sense in this universe. That we don't need a father figure for Batman in this particular universe. We need somebody that's helping him fight crime throughout this time. Since we don't have a Robin.
Is it because it's 20 years in?
Yeah, I mean we don't have a Robin. 20 years of him fighting crime, Alfred would really be involved in this by now.
Right, that's what I mean. So like, man, how much?
Okay,
I still have to be your father figure for 20 years.
Yeah. So no, we're good with Alfred. That's not our problem.
Okay, no, our problem is I just wanted to ask you
Batman,
that.
Superman. That's our problem. So you're good with Batman.
Give me yours.
Okay, so
give me yours. Give me your
all right.
Batman. Go ahead.
Look. Like you said, in this universe, or like I said, in this universe, I've come to terms. I will accept this Batman killing people. I will accept this Batman unfocused.
Well, you don't know what it's gonna be like.
I don't know, but I know in this particular movie what I got. I will accept that. I will accept Superman for who he was, but to be honest, they are not what I expect for these particular characters. But I will accept how they represented in this universe, because it would have not fit this particular tone in this particular universe to have them represented the way that I want them to be represented as. They wanted Batman to be a dark vigilante. They wanted Superman to be misunderstood and of people to fear him. So he can't be happy-go-lucky. I'm gonna be the Boy Scout saving cats out of trees and doing all this other stuff. He was like, I'm going to try to honor my parents and my father by doing some things, but I'm not gonna let the public really sway my opinion of who I am.
Then why make the remember shirts?
Remember what? They're remembering the.
Why remember the S? Why if they?
Because some people still feel that way, but some people still feel that way. They built a monument to him. Some people love him and some people don't. So I get those as those particular characters. I still didn't like Jesse Eisenberg. So I didn't like his interpretation of Lex Luthor. It's like I said. Mercy Graves aside, I just don't like.
But he's not. But he wasn't the third. He wasn't the one of the top character posters that came out. He was like one of like the fourth or fifth. So
you're saying his importance wasn't that great?
Right.
All right.
So
the Doomsday thing was forced in, and Doomsday didn't get a chance to evolve as a character, or at least you get to see more of the threat. It was just kind of like, hey, big Ninja Turtle dude is out here fighting, and somehow he can die from kryptonite just like I can.
What if it was? what if they had done it where
because he was kryptonite. I mean, he was Kryptonian. Yeah.
He was odd.
Technically.
So if they would have gone the route of pretty much Batman versus like Batman and Superman, that's it. Mm-hmm. And then ended it with that, and that causes the Justice League to come together.
So they ended it with, why did you say Martha? Why did you say that name? So they ended there.
I mean, they do show a little small part of Steppenwolf, and that's who supposedly the Justice League is going to fight.
Supposedly, they haven't announced yet.
Like all this crap is in it. But anyway,
that's still not the plot.
Whatever. Characters, what are they getting?
I'm doing it versus what I liked versus I didn't
The
like.
way I felt about plots, that's how you're feeling about characters.
And I'm still being more. I'm being more fair. And there's more characters that I liked than I didn't like in this particular movie. Yes, there were a couple that I did not like, and Jesse Eisenberg is a big part as Lex Luthor, but everybody else, I felt, for what this universe had already set up, I mean, that's what we should have expected for these particular characters, and I thought they at least stayed true and honored what was their universe. So yes, I did like the characters.
So, boom, we have a winner.
Barely. Barely.
Hey, you know what?
It was really on a technicality on how I judge that based on because I try to be as fair and honest as I possibly can, and I judged it like I judged every other category was based on this existing universe.
But at the same time, well, first of all, they're really, and I've said this in another show, they're really Tony Stark in this guy. That's the one thing that I don't like about the whole Bruce Wayne thing. They're making
Tony
him
Stark
almost like
is
Tony.
smart?
Forget it. Anyway,
I mean, no, Batman is smart. Bruce
I know
Wayne's
he's smart, but he's not Tony Stark. That he's gonna go and assemble.
We don't know that. Oh, as far as assembling the
yeah, he ain't doing none of that. He ain't going to the
Batman. I mean, Superman's dead.
It doesn't matter. Look at okay, 5 minutes. I got it.
We got the saying.
We got the sign. Red light. But you got freaking Robert Downey going to freaking Spider-Man's house. Now you got the Ben Affleck going to freaking Ezra Miller's The Flash. His house. I mean,
what was he gonna put the bat symbol up with a little note at the bottom?
There you go.
You want to be part of the Justice League? Call 555 Batman. They ain't gonna do that. You gotta go talk to these people.
So because this was the Ultimate Edition, this was actually gonna have 7 categories, but he said no. So you got 5, and guess what? We freaking got it. 3-2. Unlike Batman vs Superman, you really don't hate this movie.
You don't hate this movie. As a matter of fact, especially with the Ultimate Edition, you really don't hate this movie.
Yeah.
They gave you so much more.
Much improvement.
Yeah.
Much improvement. Very much. Terrence, take us home.
All right, so as always, we do in these videos, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, so that way you know about other You Don't Hate videos coming out. Make sure you in your comments when you put them down there, tell us about other movies that you like that maybe other people don't like or the masses don't really like, but you know in your heart that people really don't hate those particular movies. Let us know. We'd love to try to defend it because we're a fan of movies and we're a fan of obviously movies that a lot of people don't like. So we'll definitely weigh it back and forth. Can't get more words today. But that's all I got, guys.
Stay tuned for next time. Due to technical difficulties, we weren't able to do Transformers Darker Than Moon. We will actually have that one on our next You Don't Hate.
So that one will lose.
For Aspen in the back, I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
We'll see you next time. Anyway, all right, let's go. Ready?
I don't know if you know this, but it's really bright in here.
That's great. Now let's go.
And it gives me a headache.
Okay, great. Let's go.